Today we are going to be talking about this book right here. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 2 young adult contemporary romance books. One is a friends to lovers romance titled What Are Friends For? And the other one is a fake relationship romance titled Out of My League. You can find links to both those books in the description box below. Welcome back to my channel. So yes, by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. And you're probably thinking, Sarah, this book just came out. It came out Tuesday, August 4th. What day am I filming this video? Wednesday, August 5th. Yeah, I read it in one day. Do I regret it? Yes and no. Now, I want to preface this by saying I am not a professional book reviewer. Not in the slightest. I suck at book reviews. Pretty badly. It's not good. But this is kind of me diving into that a little bit more. I wanted to share my opinions a little bit more with you guys and have a conversation about this book because there's a lot to talk about it, and I wanted to kind of, you know, bounce some ideas around, kind of share what I thought and see what y'all thought too. So yeah, before we get into my review, hit that like button and tap that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this on your feed, because if you hit that subscribe button, I'm gonna pop up. So Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer is the entirety of the Twilight book, the first one, in Edward's POV. Which I have no idea why, but I was thinking that Midnight Sun was gonna be the entire Twilight series saga in Edward's point of view, which, now that I'm thinking about it, that would have been a massive book. But I thought they were just gonna like recap the important stuff, you know? But in all actuality, it is the entire Twilight book in his point of view, which, you know, I think I enjoyed. I will say, you guys, I did not get a chance to read, this was leaked at one point, right? Someone leaked it, and I never read that copy. So this is me going into Edward's point of view for the first time. And it picks off with a chapter called First Sight, and it is Edward going through his day of high school, hating every moment of it. And he sees Bella and is not infatuated with her, like, immediately, which I found very interesting because Bella is kind of infatuated with him immediately, so, you know, like the differentiation. However, I will say that I'm a sucker for seeing the protective guy's point of view. And you know Edward, that's all he does. He is worried about Bella's safety at all times. It was really interesting to see those scenes from his angle. I think my favorite one would have to be the Meadow Scene. I think that's definitely my favorite scene in this book. I actually thought the last scene was gonna be my favorite scene. The scene where James attacks Bella, I thought that would be my favorite, but it kind of felt a little rushed. There was a lot of drag out before Edward kind of finds James. In my opinion, it was just that before part was just a smidge too long. But it was interesting to see the sides of things that Bella wouldn't have been able to know, like what Edward was doing while they were trying to track James and all that stuff. This is going to be a no spoiler kind of review, obviously, because I'm being very vague about everything. But there was one part in here, it was part of the Meadow Scene that I really enjoyed. So if you've read Twilight, there's a scene where Edward gets too close to Bella and immediately jerks away. And in Bella's point of view, she's like, okay, what do I do, you know? But in Edward's point of view, I really loved how it was described in that moment, how it kind of like, how everything came to that moment. I liked the threads in that moment. If anybody understands that, I don't know if they will. One thing I wasn't too sure about going in is I wasn't sure about the cover. I don't think this is an attractive cover at all, and I think there's probably some mixed opinions on it. It does have significance to the book though. Like all of her book covers do, they have significance, and it took me a while to kind of read to figure it out what the significance was. But when I got to it, it was pretty interesting. So I guess it does make sense for what goes on in the book, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know. I saw someone redesign the book, and it was them. It was like somebody holding the pomegranate, so it's like a, you know, what's the word? Whatever. To the original Twilight book, where someone is holding the apple, which I think would have been a genius idea if someone was holding the, you know, pomegranate. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not a book designer. I will say one thing I kind of struggled with was the repetitiveness of things, which nothing is repeated sentence by sentence or anything like that, but there is a lot of Edward saying he is relieved. He feels relief. I want to really do like a, if I had a Kindle, I would definitely do a search for all of like the relieved and the relief words, because I think that'd be really interesting to see how many times it's used. I feel like I was just noticing it a lot, and maybe I'm just like kind of going crazy, but I feel like I remember him saying relief, relieved, relief, relieved a bunch. Another scene that I enjoyed reading through was the scene where the van almost crushes Bella. I loved Edward's point of view there. I will say I connected with Edward's point of view way more than Bella's point of view in the first Twilight book. I have a friend on Instagram, Jen. In their story, they post about how Bella has no agency in the Twilight series, saga, whatever it's called, saga. But in Midnight Sun, Edward's whole, like, you know, everything he wants is tied to Bella. So he has a want, a need, and a goal. And I think that's what makes it really interesting, because we're following this character who is trying to keep the thing he loves safe, even though he is not safe, right? It's that kind of dilemma he is constantly battling with himself. So I think that was pretty interesting. And it helped me feel a little bit more connected to the story, because even though I knew the ending, it was interesting to hear his thoughts and how he was struggling so much with doing the right thing. He wanted to leave, and then he didn't want to leave, and he wanted to leave again, and it just didn't happen. And there was more, like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? There was more. It just felt more like things weren't just happening to him. It felt like he actually had a hand in the story. This was a short and sweet video about me recapping Midnight Sun. I thought about vlogging it, you guys, but when I read something that I like vibe with, you know, I love it, I will stop, and my reaction probably would have been fun, but then I'll read it out loud as if trying to imagine myself in the moment with these characters. So it's like, that's probably a little weird to watch on a vlog. So I didn't end up vlogging it. And plus I binge read it. I didn't move from my kitchen table the entire day. I don't know why I didn't go sit in my bedroom and sit on my couch. No idea. I just sat at the kitchen table for the entire day. So yeah, I read it all in one day, all 658 pages of it. In the last Twilight book, in the last part of the Twilight book, there we go, Bella says, "Promise you won't leave me," right? Edward says, "I promise." But in his head, in the end, it's interesting to hear his thoughts and what's actually going through his mind. Because in New Moon, when I read it, I was really ticked that Edward was breaking a promise. But he was promising it different in his head, and I thought that was really interesting to see. And I enjoyed how it kind of like, it gave New Moon a whole different meaning, in my opinion. And that part in New Moon when he leaves her, I should say. Not the entire book. I will say that I've been thinking about the rest of the series since reading Midnight Sun, and I will say there are a lot of problematic moments. And I know everybody has their opinions about the Twilight Saga, Stephenie Meyer, all this stuff, Edward, Jacob, Bella. I know everybody has their own opinions about it, but I just kind of wanted to come on, share my thoughts. I enjoyed Midnight Sun. I think I'd give it a 4. Like, there were some parts where I was just like, okay. And then the repetitiveness of it was kind of a little bit hard for me to get around. But then again, that is how Edward thinks, you know. Who am I to say that's wrong? So I would definitely say a 4, if not a 4.5. It was nice to come back to this world that I once loved. I remember I binge read the original Twilight books all in one kind of sitting as well. I mean, not all at once, but like each book in one sitting when I was in middle school. And I reread them recently just to get in the mindset for this bad boy. Everybody has their own opinions, and I'd love to hear yours. Have you read Midnight Sun yet? Yes? No? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I want to know your thoughts. For me, I enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely a nice read, and I'll put it on my shelf to maybe reread again in the future. And yeah, I think it was a nice addition to this collection, and I would not be mad if Stephenie Meyer decided to write the rest of the Twilight saga in Edward's point of view, especially New Moon. I would love a New Moon book from Edward's perspective. That was the one thing I was so bummed about when I realized that Midnight Sun was only about Twilight. Again, I have no idea why. I was thinking it was like the entire book, entire series in this book. I think it's because someone said it was all of Twilight in Edward's point of view, and I was thinking like Twilight, the series, like the entire series Twilight, not just the first book Twilight. I don't know. But that was one thing I was bummed about. I so freaking badly wanted to see the scene where Edward leaves Bella in the woods. I wanted to see it from his point of view. And I wanted to see the scene where Jasper tries to attack Bella because she's bleeding from his point of view. I'd love it. Thank you, Stephanie Meyer. I would love that book. I just think it'll be really good. Eclipse and Breaking Dawn, I'm not so sure that that would be a great book from Edward's perspective, because we have a lot of Edward and Eclipse anyway. So let me know if you read it, loved it, hate it, didn't read it, aren't gonna read it. Totally okay. This is a safe space. I want to say that right now. No one is going to be judging anybody else for their choices, for their opinions, or for their likes or dislikes. Yeah, so no hate. We respect people for their opinions here. Awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this impromptu book review. I don't do book reviews very often just because I feel like I'm not that qualified for book reviews. It's so hard for me to articulate my thoughts, but I really wanted to share about Midnight Sun because I did enjoy it and I binge read it, and I felt like this was such a popular book that I wanted to kind of have this conversation with you guys, and I know a bunch of you are reading it right now, so I'd love to talk about it more with you too. Okay guys, that's it for me. I will see you whenever for another video. I'm not sure when this is gonna go live. So yes, I will see you guys in the next video or at our live stream for some more writing sprints. So yes, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to tap that like button, tap that subscribe button, and hit the bell notification if you want to be reminded about our live streams or new future videos. So yes, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Should I even post this? 100 yards away, Mike Newton was lowering Bella's limp body to the sidewalk. She slumped unresponsibly against the wet concrete. "Bella," I shouted. The very moment she was out of my sight.